A ma manière hand wash cold. I'm not going to remember that. A ma manière hand wash cold. Oh, I'm going to make a mess of this. I'm going to make an absolute mess of this. This video is going to be all over the place, but who cares? Straight up disclosure right off the bat. Whenever I make videos, I talk non-stop right through, front to back, sometimes 20-30 minutes non-stop, yak, 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 and I do not edit as much as possible. It's extremely rare for me to have an edit in one of my videos where I cut, and cut to a couple of seconds later because I want to cut out a mistake, or I've forgotten what I want to say, or I've lost the chain of thought or something like that. And this a ma manière hand wash cold, absolutely for sure I'm going to make a mess of this, and I'm still going to leave those mistakes and flubs and NGs, as they call them here in Japan, or I wonder what they call them overseas. I've been here for like 20 years, so I've forgotten like large chunks of Western culture, but there's a word for that, outtakes I think it's called. The outtakes are all going to stay in. So today what I'm going to try to do is to bring you the A Ma Manière hand wash cold Nike Air Force One high and low. This is the Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channel です。毎日アップするので、毎日見てください。And every single see, look, I made a mistake right away. And I'm leaving it in. And it's nothing to do with the Hama Manière. It's just me making a mistake. Every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And also a little bit about the butter movement. I do a tiny little bit about the butter movement at the start, and then a big bit about the butter movement at the end. And the tiny bit about the butter movement is that we're playing a game, and here's a link explaining how that game works, but there's also a link down below in the description about that game. I drop a hint, and then on a Sunday, Shoe Butter drops rare sneakers from my channel. And in the case of today, it's hint number 4, and it's a nice collaboration. That's the hint for today. It's a nice collaboration. So with that, out of the way, let's keep focused in here on these sneakers, these Air Force One highs and Air Force One lows. I love them. I think they're really, really cool. This is the second sneaker in 3 weeks where you could say avant-garde, or you could say kind of premium, or select maybe, but it's a real, I don't know how you describe it. It's a unique sort of collaboration between a fashion house and Nike. So it's not the kind of, it's not Supreme or Off-White, which are kind of middle of the road brands, if you like, tie-ups, collaborations with Nike. This A Ma Manière tie-up is very much sort of high-end and high-brow, shall we say. The one I'm thinking about before was 40% Against Right, which was a really fine sneaker. I'll put the link right there if you want to check out that video. That was a fine sneaker. I really enjoyed making that video, and it was very arty. That sneaker was kind of arty, like that arty world, and that's what this is here. These Nike Air Force One highs and lows from A Ma Manière hand wash cold. I'm going to make a mess of it, I'm telling you. Are really fine looking sneakers, and I want to do this video because I love the look of the sneaker, not necessarily because it's going to get me views or content, or watch time or anything like that. But of course, I do need those things. So please do watch as often as possible and for as long as possible. But more than that, make sure you've hit that subscribe button down below. That is the true test of a YouTube channel, and hitting the subscribe button truly helps. So please do that, and don't forget the like button. If I don't ask, people out there tend to forget to click it. So I've said it. I've asked. Please do hit the like button down below, and you're just going to go click and like this video. So thank you very much for doing that too, as well as subscribing. But as I am here in Tokyo, Japan, I do say at the start of every single one of my videos, Toroku yoroshiku onegai shimasu. 毎日アップするので、ぜひ登録よろしくお願いします。いいねもクリックすると助かるので、その2つの点を注意してください。いいねをクリックする、登録をクリックすると Okay, let's get into these sneakers now. As I said, there's a high and there's a low. Right off the bat, one of the things I like about it is that the high and the low are not identical. It would have been very easy to make the high and the low, and then simply just take off this part to get to that low. But they didn't do that. There are completely different elements on these sneakers, but there's enough about them that's similar that you can say, yeah, they are like part of the same pack. And I really, really appreciate that. I talk all the time about how much I value sneakers and brands, putting the effort in on the design side so that they're not just grabbing our cash when they sell us their sneakers. They're actually trying to design something with worth and value, and I see that in this sneaker. I see two sneakers that are unique, part of the same pack but unique, and with some really cracking design features on there. And we're going to walk through both sneakers, the highs and the lows today, and look at those different features on them. So all in all, if we look at them as one big thing, I think I'll have been able to put a picture behind me here that'll have the high and the low in the same frame, so it's not like alternating between the two sneakers. I hope they're visible. If they're not, I'll find a way to show you both of them together, and you can see predominantly predominantly a black grey look on this sneaker. There is a hit of color in there that we'll get to later on in the video when we look closer at the sneaker, but predominantly what we're talking about is a black and grey colorway all in all, and from the outsole, the midsole, all the way up into the different panels on the upper, that's the colorway of this sneaker. Now let's start at the toe box on both, and I probably, I don't know if I'll alternate or not, or maybe just scan between the two, but somehow behind me here I'll show you the toe box on the highs and the toe box on the lows, both of which are in black tumbled leather, and they're pretty much identical. There's not that much difference between the Air Force One high and the Air Force One low toe box in color, in materials, and in design. There's pretty much no difference between the two, but that's where mostly the similarities end. So let's have a look at where there are the differences, and the differences come in straight off the back on those swooshes. You can see on the highs it's a black swoosh. I think I'm right in saying it's a black tumbled leather swoosh, and behind me here there'll be a close-up of that, and you can see for yourself if it is actually tumbled leather or if I've got that wrong. But I think it's a tumbled leather black swoosh on the high, but on the lows it's a reversed leather grey swoosh. Love it. Absolutely love it. I've been doing this for a year and a month. I started doing daily content in mid-December last year. So all in all, I've probably looked at around about 360 sneakers so far, and I've never seen reversed leather. I'm not saying there are no other sneakers with reversed leather on them. I'm just saying out of those 360, I've never seen reversed leather. So it's a rare thing to see on a sneaker, if not extremely rare. And I love it, absolutely love it. I really dig the material and the way it looks. I really think it's a fine looking addition to a sneaker, a great material to put on there, and you see that in the swoosh on the lows, but then when you go back to the highs, you also see the same material, same color, same effect on the heel of the highs. So while the swoosh on the highs is black, and like I said, I think tumbled leather, the heel underneath it is that reversed leather in a light grey sort of colour, which matches the swoosh of the lows. And then if you go back to the lows and look at the heel on there, you can see that they've stayed with the tumbled leather black effect on there. So a very big contrast between the swoosh and the heels on both of these sneakers, but there's similarities. So and it's what I like about this pack, is that there's enough difference and enough similarities between the two to just sort of make it worth looking at both sneakers, really. And the one more place to have a little sneak peek at is on the back, where there's usually Nike branding on the back of a Air Force One, but in the case of these guys, there's that A on there to represent the collaboration branding rather than the Nike branding, and it's on, I think it's on suede, around about the heel of both of the sneakers. The lows and the highs have the same kind of branding on the back there, to signify that collaboration element of this sneaker. Something slipped my mind. I was thinking about it just now while I was talking about that A. Oh, that's right, it's the color. I talked about it earlier in this video, that there's some element of color in there. Now, in both sneakers, they carry an element of color in the piping, and we'll look at the lows for that because there's a different thing in the highs that you don't get in the lows that I'll talk about in a minute. But the lows and the highs have a kind of piping effect around the panels on the overlays and the many areas on the sneaker, the midfoot and stuff like that. And it's got a real iridescent feel about it. And a real kind of sheen to it. And I think looking at it, it's not going to be a constant color. It's not just a gray pipe that goes all the way around. It's going to depend on the light, and it's going to play off of the light and give you that iridescent feel. And on the highs, they do have that piping, but there's another place where you get that iridescent feel, and it's on the lace lock or the lace holder right in the middle of the lacing system there. You can see the material that's made from is also giving you that kind of color and iridescence that you get with the piping as well. And that's where you're getting a bit of color in this sneaker. So what is predominantly a grey and black sneaker, monochrome sort of colors, gets that extra bit of boost, an extra bit of push in its color from the piping and that lace lock on the high version there. And that's the last thing that I really want to look at in these guys. There is a strap around the sort of higher area of the highs that's on there as well, but it's not really all that worth looking at, so I won't really mention it more than I have already. So all in all, though, I really dig these sneakers. They're haute couture, or they're avant-garde, or they're premium, or they're highbrow, or whatever. I doubt they'll go to general release. I'm sure they'll be challenging to get a hold of. But I just think they're a really nice looking sneaker, and I like to review this kind of thing, of course, as well as the more general releases and the more familiar sneakers to us out there as well. So I hope you appreciate that. As I say at the end of my videos, I do just quickly nip into butter movement stuff that we're going on with that game. We're getting those weekly little snippets from the shoe department down Butter Movement Way in Shoe Butter Central. Truly appreciate that. Some of the rarest sneakers in the world. Hopefully you've been able to check out a few of them. So far we had the first one was the Nate Robinson Kryptonates from the dunk contest in 2009, and then last week it was the Reebok Yeezys. There were only 50 of each pair made, and Shoe Butter managed to get one of each pair, so quite an incredibly rare sneaker, and one of the earliest sort of Yeezys that Kanye West tied up with Reebok, no less. And I'm sure many people don't know about that sneaker. So two very, very cool sneakers so far, and then this week we've got another sneaker on the way, and I've been dropping those hints throughout the week. So one more hint tomorrow, and then we'll find out what sneaker Shoe Butter's bringing us on Sunday. For now, though, it's time for me to check out and say thank you guys for checking out my content. Thanks for supporting the channel. A lot of love right now, a lot of positivity. Hopefully that's going to carry this channel on forward, and then we'll get into finding a way to tie up with one of the sneaker stores here in Tokyo, Japan. For now, though, it's time for me to sign off, and thank you guys for checking out my content. But as I do this every single day, you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.